So wow, talked about euphoria yesterday, about wanting that, and the association with the Indiumease, did it. I woke up this morning, um, took my dose of Indium, which I did 5 drops. I'm probably going to do for just a little while to get caught up, and then I'm going to go down to what would be my dose is 4 drops. Went back. I got up at 8 o'clock, did that. Um, Went and laid back down. Thought I'd read. I tried to read. And all of a sudden, just this tiredness came over me again. I put the book down and I just thought, I'll just like kind of maybe meditate. And I just went unconscious. Next thing I know, I woke up at 10 o'clock, which was a little bit troublesome because I like to do a bunch of stuff. I had to be to my chiropractor before 11:30, which I live just 25-minute drive from me before I even get into civilization from where I live. And so it was a little bit of a challenge to get at least my tonics down and everything. But boy, when I woke up at 10 o'clock, euphoria. And I do want to say, just to clarify what I'm talking about, I compared the euphoria to I'd gotten into that with the coffee and the marijuana. And what I'm talking about, euphoria, a pure euphoria in my mind, is better than any drug-like experience. Coffee's a drug. Marijuana is essentially a drug as well. I don't think I was clear about this. Indium is a trace mineral that's very hard for the human body to get, and that's about it. And this product was sort of very revolutionary when it came out because it was really the first time that it was easy to get Indium supplement. And I don't remember the exact number, but when I was introduced to this by Truth Calkins and Jay as well, a large number, it amplifies the effects of what you're doing by I don't know, I remember if it's 40 times is what seems to click in my head, but that it's significant. And the way that I felt today, and to go back to what I was saying about euphoria, what I felt today, that is better than any drug. That is basically for me what I felt like when I got up out of bed at 10 o'clock and until quite some time into the day, and I still feel wow, is the way I felt every single day of my life up until I was about 40. And even after HIV, I was able to get that sort of euphoric hygiene back. I was 38 when I was in the hospital with full-blown AIDS, and then I did bounce back hardcore. This stuff is like wow, and just so you know, I went down and it was went to great use. I had to go to my chiropractor. I was just bouncing off the wall. That energy, I'm sure, helped to lock in my chiropractic adjustment a lot more. I had to get new tires on my truck, so I had to go and deal with a lot of that kind of stuff, which is not, for me, this may sound a little crazy, but I pretty much don't go into the city at all anymore. I mean, it used to be not a problem, but the energy with the way it is and everything, going into the city is a bit of a challenge for me these days with just zapping my energy because I'm not used to being in the matrix with so many cell phones, the energy and the way people are just sort of, because I've just basically turned into this kind of forest mystic. Truth calls me the wood elf and druid. And so, the thing, just people's energy is too much for me. Maybe it's not enough or something, or it's just, it's kind of a bit toxic. So the Indiumease, wow, amazing. And I'm dying to see what's going to happen as I take more. I was just, and just after I made my post yesterday, I realized that I was pretty well on an empty stomach, so I did a couple drops of it last night. But it is a once a day kind of thing, so amazing. So, wow. anyways, so I also want to share with you while I was down at the tonic bar, I learned some stuff which the Sustanch I had known. God, why is this a reflection on it? There you go. Sustanch from Jing Herbs, and this is a powder. Sustanch is good for the colon. I knew that it moistened the colon, but I didn't know that it strengthened the colon. And I was watching Truth do one of his demos for Donna Gates. I think it's the Jing Nog, where he said Sustanch strengthens the colon. And so as soon as I heard that, I was like on that. I'm taking 2 teaspoons a day of that, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Which is this drink right here. Anyway, so when I was down in LA, I had told Jay Denman that I was having some problems with my colon, some pretty heavy-duty ones, which I'm on completely on the other side of now. I just got a little bit of straggling effects, and I learned from him that carob is good for strengthening the intestines as well. And so I bought some of that while I was down the hill today. And then just from inspiration of being down and being with Jay, because Jay is just both Jay and Truth Calkins, Jay Denman, Truth Calkins are really good with the flavors. And Jay just has that little bit of an extra edge with the wisdom of getting these sort of very eclectic layer of stuff in there. And Truth admits this. If you watch the Vanilla Picasso video that Longevity Now or Longevity DVD or whatever, I don't even remember what that channel is, but Truth admits this. And so I was with my friend Laura, and I just had my usual sort of, not usual, I said I just want to, I want my mind blown in a cup. It's like I'm down here, and so you know, I want a few extra yang herbs, but I want it well balanced in the yin and the yang sense, because I hadn't put just a tiny bit of epimedium in there because I'd quit drinking coffee, and that's a little bouncy, and again, a medicinal herb. But what he made my friend Laura was this amazing thick carob. That's how we got on the subject of carob. Thick deal with just layers of, it tasted like it had pumpkin spice in it and stuff. And I have to admit, I kind of do the same thing with my elixirs all the time. And it doesn't taste the same because I just use sort of the same formulas. I put all the herbs in, gynostemma tea, coconut or ghee, stevia, and dandy blend. So this time, based on inspiration from Jay, I wanted to get something a little kind of different or kind of more eclectic that's more really suitable to who I really am, and start messing around with this. So I put dried coconut flakes in here with the carob, with the dandy blend, gynostemma tea, some cayenne pepper, a little tiny bit of cayenne, and a little tiny bit of ginger. And wow, I love this stuff, man. It's just really good, very thick. Of course, I probably need to soak the coconut because the coconut stuff is not quite emulsified with the whole thing. And I did run it on high on the Vitamix for a while. It's just kind of stubborn. I think if I keep some soaked in water, it'll be better. And it's just my usual herbs in there. Not usual, the ones I'm doing right now. Which, if you want a quick rundown on that, this particular one has in it Eleuthero, Lycium, Astragalus, Schizandra. I think that's it on that. Some Sustanch, American Ginseng, Showu 88 from Jing Herbs, Return or Reviving the Yin, Restoring the Yin by Jing Herbs also. That would be like a Romania 6 Hoshu formula. Blue Plum and Dragon Bone, two Deer Placenta, Virugo Max, Activated Minor Blue Plum, and of course those are my two for the antiviral thing. Rugomax and activated minor bupleurum are really good. I take 3 times a day. I take that, which is fighting the virus, and of course you could do that too for fighting anything. But Rugomax is what the Chinese developed to fight off SARS, if you remember that a long time ago. So on down to the rest of the stuff. Opt Digest, 3 caps, Super Jane, 3 caps. What else in there? There's more Shen. No more Shen in there. 3 willpowers. I've taken that down. I was taking 4 caps 3 times a day. Now I'm going to 3 caps 3 times a day, and eventually I'm going to go to 2 caps 3 times a day. And it's a very high dosage, even though it totally is a tonic. So then 2 squirts of Jing Herbs Deer Antler, and then 4 squirts of the New Zealand Deer Antler, which I'm trying at the recommendation of subscribers, people watching. I think it was, is it Terminus something that I think was talking about it. And then Tsunami Machine was sort of talking about it. And it's interesting to note that the New Zealand deer antler is clear. And right away I was kind of, huh? Because everything else I do is dark. And so they sent it with an amazing piece of paper authenticating everything about it and all that kind of stuff. I'm just trying it. And the fact that the cap gets hardly stuck on there every time you use it tells me that there's a lot of stuff in there. And I'm just assuming that it's clear is because it's fresh. And the stuff that's made over here in California, both Jing Herbs and Dragon Herbs, is brown because it's dried. So, anyways, and what else was in there? 2 squirts of dewdrops and a squirt of ant. Anyways, our musical selection is we're going to do something going back to some nice, real quiet, dead still music. Not droney stuff though. This is Brian Eno. And Brian Eno, for those not in the know, is probably a very influential person in music, having produced the Talking Heads as well as U2, but has had a rather, more in the art world, has had more of a, and the art world I mean art music, a very productive and pioneering career in the 70s. And the track is the first track off of Music for Airports, which is called 1/1, and then of course the next one on the vinyl is 1/2. Very important this. It's Brian Eno's ambient series, which is where he coined the term ambient for use with music. Of course, the term ambient existed previous to that. He didn't invent the word. He just used it to apply to music, which is, by his definition, is sort of musical wallpaper. So it's kind of a music that's not demanding of your attention. You can listen to it or can just be in the background. And he created the music out of frustration of being stuck in an airport one day in Bonn, Germany. And so anyways, excellent music here, and I hope I have enough time to stick in a little bit more trivia here. Brian Eno often given credit for inventing ambient music, which is not true at all. In fact, Brian Eno was hanging out in Germany quite a bit, and really the Germans are the one who invented ambient music, especially the band Cluster, or Cluster, as well as my hero, Klaus Schulze. Where's my tattoo? Klaus Schulze right there. But the quiet, really just sort of wallpaper stuff, because Klaus's stuff is a little more psychedelic, and the Cluster with a K was a little more industrial. But the Cluster with a C, which they eventually became, and that's a whole story by itself, why they changed that, invented, Brian Eno hung out with them, and they were already doing that. So this record came out in 1978, and they were already doing this kind of stuff. This kind of information is really not available because most of what's on the internet is based on the American and British press. And so they give Eno complete credit for inventing ambient, which is totally not true. And so I happen to be in the know, and a lot of people who were into German music, Krautrock as it was called in the 70s, these people invented a lot of stuff, and it's really not common knowledge.